हेलो एवरीवन, स्वागत है आपका फिर से हमारे यूट्यूब चैनल में। आज हम आपके लिए एक नया वीडियो लेके आए हैं जो कि प्रिंसिपल ऑफ मैनेजमेंट का है। तो चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं। वीडियो स्टार्ट करने से पहले अगर आपने अभी हमारा तक चैनल सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो चैनल को ज़रूर से ज़रूर सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल आइकन दबाना बिल्कुल मत भूलें ताकि हम कोई भी वीडियो डालें उसका नोटिफिकेशन आपको तुरंत मिल जाए। तो चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं। Principle of management. A principle refer to statement which reflect the fundamental truth about some phenomena based on cause and effect relationship. Management principles. Management principles are the statement of fundamental truth which act as a guideline for taking managerial action and decisions. Derivation of management principles. Management principles are not developed overnight, but a complete procedure to develop these principles is undertaken. The management principles are derived and developed in two ways, that are deep observation and repeated experiment. Under the deep observation, the researcher observes deeply while employees are working and note down the reaction of employees on various managerial decisions. Under the repeated experiment, the decision or statement which is repeatedly observed and is being tested in different organization with different set of employees, and if they get the result in same direction in all the organization, then the statement is given the name of a principle and principle is derived. What are the feature or characteristic of management principles? The principle of management have been developed on the basis of live experiments of happening of the past. The main features are, first one is universal applications. It means the principle of management are universal in nature. That means they can be applied to all type of organization irrespective of their size and nature. Sorry. Their result may vary and application may be modified, but these are suitable for all kind of organizations. The second one is general guidelines. Management principles are not static or absolute statements. These cannot be applied blindly in all the situation. The applicability of management principle depend on the condition and nature of the organizations. The manager must apply these principles according to the size and nature of organization, keeping in mind the requirement of the organization. Management principle give guidelines to solve the problems. These principles do not provide ready-made solution for all the problems. Third one is formed by practice and experiments. The management principles are developed only after the deep and thorough research work. They are not developed overnight and they are not the personal feeling of any person. Proper observation and experiments are conducted before developing them. Fourth one is flexibility. Flexibility means management principle can be applied differently under different conditions. Some changes can be made in application of principles according to the requirement of the company. These are not set of rigid statements. These can be modified by the manager who are using them. Fifth one is based on cause and effect relationship. Management principles are based on the cause and effect. That means these principles tell us if a particular principle is applied in a situation, what might be its effect. Although these principles cannot state perfectly absolute result because these are applied on human being, but it help in knowing the some idea about the effects. Last is management principles are contingent. This means management principles are contingent or dependent upon the situation prevailing in the organizations. Their application and effect depend upon the nature of the organization. The application of principle has to be changed according to the nature, size and type of organizations. So let's talk about the significance, importance of principle of management. Proper understanding of management principle is very important and helpful for manager as these principles act as a guidelines for managerial activities. By practicing principle, manager can avoid various mistakes while dealing with the people in the organization. The main significance are as follows. provide manager with useful insight into reality. Management principles act as a guidelines for the manager. These principles improve knowledge, ability and understanding of the manager under various managerial situations. The effect of these principles help the manager to learn from their mistakes. Second one is optimum utilization of resource. The management principle insists on planned activities and systematic organization of men and material in the organization. Principles are designed to get maximum benefit from the human effort and the resource. Third one is scientific decisions. Manager have to take a number of decisions every day, so they need to access the resource of organization very carefully so that the appropriate decision can be taken by using the available resource in the best possible manner. The management principle enable the manager to approach various problems systematically and scientifically. Fourth one is meeting the changing requirements. Every business has to make changes in the organization according to the changes taking place in the business environment. Management principle train the manager in implementing the change in right direction at right level in the organizations. Fifth one is fulfilling the social responsibilities. A business is creation of society and make uses the resource of society. So it must do something for society also by performing some social responsibilities. Management principle not only act as a guideline for achieving organizational objective, but these principles also guide the manager to perform some social responsibilities. So let's talk about the Fayol principle, Henry Fayol principle of management. What does Henry Fayol tells about this principle of management? Henry Fayol, also knows, becomes the father of management studies and thoughts because of the following contributions. He made clear distinction between technical and managerial skills. He identified main steps in the process of management which are considered as a major function of management, that are planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. He developed 14 principles of management which act as a guideline for manager to perform managerial activities. So these are the principles given by the Henry Fayol. First one is principle of division of work. According to this principle, the whole work must be divided into small units, and instead of assigning the whole task to one person, one unit of work should be assigned to one person according to their capability, qualification and experience of the person. When a person is performing a part of job again and again, he will become perfect and specialize in doing that, and the efficiency level will improve. Henry Fayol said not only the factory worker but technical, managerial and skill jobs should also be divided into small segments for specialization. Second one is principle of authority and responsibility. Authority means power to take decision and responsibility means obligation to complete the job assigned on time. According to this principle, there must be balance on parity between the authority and responsibility. Excess of authority without matching responsibility may bring negative result, and excess of responsibility without matching the authority will not allow the worker to complete his job on time. So there is a need to bring the parity or balance between both of them for better and better results. Third one is principle of discipline. Discipline refers to the general rules, regulation for systematic work in an organization. Discipline does not mean only rules and regulation, but it also means developing commitment in the employees toward organization as well as toward each other. Fayol insists that discipline is required at superior as well as subordinate level. Fourth one is principle of unity of command. According to this principle, an employee should receive order from only one boss. Because if he is receiving order from more than one boss, he will get confused and will not be able to understand that whose order must be executed first. And on the other hand, if employee is receiving order from more than one boss, he get chance to give excuses by saying that he was busy in executing the orders of other boss. So to avoid confusion and to give no chance of excuses to employees, the order must come from one boss only. Fifth one is unity of direction. According to this principle, one unit means one plan. That is, The effort of all the member and employees of the organization must be directed toward one direction, that is achievement of common goal. If the principle is applied, it leads to coordination. Each department and a group having common objective must have one head and one plan only. The next one is subordinate of individual interest to general interest. According to this principle, the interest of organization must coincide the interest of individual or employees. In the organization, all the employees are working with some objective and there is always an objective of the organization. If the objective of individual are in the same direction of the organization, then there is no problem. But if the objective of both the groups are in different direction, then manager must try to reconcile individual interests with organizational goal, and if it is not possible, then individual goal must be sacrificed for achieving the organizational goal. Next one is principle of remuneration to person. According to this principle, employee in the organization must be paid fairly on or adequately to give them maximum satisfaction. The remuneration must be just fair, because if employees are underpaid or not paid, they will not be satisfied, and unsatisfied person can never contribute to his maximum. Dissatisfaction will lead to increase in employees turnover. So to have stability in the organization and to get maximum effort from employee, the employee must be paid fairly. Next one is principle of centralization and decentralization. Centralization refers to concentration of authority or power in few hands at the top level. Decentralization means evenly distribution of power at every level of management. According to Fayol, a company must not be completely centralized or completely decentralized, but there must be combination of both depending upon the nature and size of the organization. A small organization can well organized and managed with centralized technique, but in large organization there is need for decentralization. Secondly, if employees are efficient and competent, then they can be trusted by having decentralization. But if employees are not fully developed and are in less number, then there must be centralization. Fayol advised not to have complete centralization or complete decentralization, but a combination of both. Next one is principle of scalar chain. Scalar chain means a line of authority or chain of superior from highest to lowest rank. Fayol insists that this chain must be followed strictly in the organization. Every information must pass through every key of chain. No skipping of any key should be allowed. Fayol permitted a shortcut in the chain which is called gangplank. Gangplank permit direct communication between the employees working at the same level of authority without the scalar chain. Next one is principle of order. In this principle, order does not mean command, but it refers to orderly arrangement of men and material. That is fixed place for everything and everyone in the organization. Fayol insists that there must be fixed place to keep every material and thing used in the organization, and fixed place or seat or cabin for every employee of the organization, so that no time and energy is wasted in search of any material or any person. Next one is principle of equity. Equity refers to the kind, fair and just treatment to employees. Employee would put their maximum effort only when they are treated with kindness and justice. If manager is biased in dealing with the employees, then employee will get dissatisfied and will not contribute to their maximum capacity. Equity does not mean equal salary to peon or supervisor, but equity means application of same disciplinary rules, leaves rules in the same way irrespective of their grade, position and gender. Next one is stability of tenure of personnel. It refers to no frequent termination and transfer. According to this principle, the management must provide the feeling of job security among the employees, because with the feeling of insecurity for the job, the employee cannot contribute to their maximum. Frequent turnover employees is bad for organization, and such decision must be taken when they are almost unavoidable. Next one is principle of initiative. Initiative refer to the checking out the plan and then implementing the same. Fayol suggested that employees in the organization must be given an opportunity to take some initiative in making and executing a plan. It gives even satisfaction to employee. So manager must welcome the suggestion and ideas of employee before framing the plan. The initiative does not mean disobedience. Once decisions are taken by management, then every employee must follow it, whether it is according to employee suggestion or not. So the last one is principle of aspirate the corps. Aspirate the corps means union is strength. Fayol emphasized on the teamwork. He suggested that every employee in the organization must consider him as a part of member of a team and try to achieve the team goal, because team contribution is always better than one more than individual contribution. Management must develop a feeling of belongingness among the employees, as they must feel themselves as a member of organization team and contribute maximum to achieve them team goal. So let's talk about the scientific management principle that is developed by F.W. Taylor. Taylor became the father of scientific management. His contribution which made him so popular are: Taylor published book and research paper explaining his scientific view on individual, organization and management. His major contribution was publishing of shop management, piece rate system and principle of scientific management. He emphasized on adoption of scientific method to the problem of management. So these are the principle that is developed by F.W. Taylor. First one is science not rule of thumb. According to this principle, Taylor insists that each job performed in the organization should be based on scientific inquiry and not on the intuitions, experience and hit and try method. He says that there must be thinking before doing, which is not in the case of rule of thumb. Rule of thumb means dictatorship of manager, whereas scientific decisions are based on cause and effect and scientific measurement of method and way of production. Second one is harmony not discord. According to this principle, those who work together in an organization must work in harmony, that is with mutual give and take and proper understanding. Generally in every organization there are two group of people, worker group and management group, and both the group work as a rival of each other, as worker always feel that they are underpaid and overburdened with the work, and management always feel that worker are good for nothing. In this principle, Taylor insists that there is need for both the group to change their attitude for each other. Next one is cooperation not individualism. According to this principle, work must be carried on cooperation with each other with mutual confidence and understanding for each other. Worker and manager must work in cooperation. The management must take worker in confidence before setting up the standard task for them, because when standard or target are set up in consultation of worker, then they will be try to best to achieve it. Last one is development of worker to their greater efficiency and prosperity. According to this principle, industrial efficiency depend upon the efficiency of worker. Worker efficiency depend upon the proper training and their selection. Taylor insisted due care should be taken while selecting the employees, and after selecting they must given the job according to their qualifications. Employee must be sent for training from time to time to update their knowledge. This will ensure greater efficiency and prosperity for both the companies and the worker. So Taylor has developed some techniques for the scientific principles. Along with the scientific principle, Taylor developed some scientific technique by conducting various experiments at his workplace. So these techniques are functional foremanship. In this technique, Taylor suggested the division of factory in two departments, that is planning and production. As Taylor felt that worker must be free from the burden of planning and they must concentrate on work and production. To develop specialization and productivity, Taylor suggested that under each department there must be some functional expert to supervise, guide and instruct the worker. As one supervisor cannot be expert in every aspect of work, so Taylor stressed on minimum 8 specialists or functional expert to supervise and give order to worker. Each boss will specialize in one aspect of work, and while observing and instructing the worker, there will be definitely specialization. So this technique is extension of principle of division of labor. Taylor said foreman must be intelligent, educated, energetic, honest, specialized or profession expert. All this quality cannot be found in one person, so Taylor stressed on having minimum 8 experts, 4 under each department to order and guide the worker. Next one is standardization and simplification of work. Scientific management always emphasizes on maintaining standard relating to every step of business operation. Standardization of output is possible if standard is maintained right from selection of tools, equipment and machine to use. Maximize the output by keeping in mind the quality standard. Standardization does not mean only quality standard, but it refers to setting up a standard for size, type, weight, measure and quality of product. Simplification emphasis on elimination of unnecessary diversity of product size and types. As more varieties means more inventory, more type of machine, more labor, cost, etc. By simplifying the task, there can be economy in use of machine, labor, inventory, maintenance, etc. It will also help in improving the quality and reduction of cost. Next one is fatigue study. This technique of scientific management is conducted to find out the frequency of rest interval, duration of rest interval and the number of rest interval. A person is bound to get tired when he is performing job for a long period of time. There is always need for rest interval. Taylor suggested that the time period and frequency of rest interval should not be decided by the wish and experience of manager, but to give a scientific approach, fatigue study must be conducted. To conduct a fatigue study, Taylor suggested to observe an average worker when he is performing a job and note down the time when the worker start getting tired and when his efficiency level start decreasing. Then give him the break. This time can be noted to decide the frequency of rest interval, and during break after how much the time worker became fresh to rejoin the work can be the time for the rest interval. So if a frequency and time for rest interval is fixed by observing worker, definitely it will be a more scientific. Next one is method study. This method study technique of scientific management is conducted to find out the one bus method of or way of performing the job which keep the production cost minimum and make maximum use of resource of the organization. Taylor suggested that method of production should not be decided by the rule of thumb method, but all the method must be tried in the organization and the one which bring maximum benefit with minimum cost must be selected. Next one is time study. The technique of time study is conducted to determine or the objective of the time studies. Taylor suggested that the time required to perform the job should not be declared by intuition, will and wish of manager, but time study must be conducted to determine the standard time scientifically. To conduct time study, Taylor suggested to observe an average worker when he is performing the job with a stopwatch in hand and note down the average time taken by worker in completion of job. Taylor suggested to repeat the same observation for 100 times and then take out the average time. This time should be considered the average time for performance of the job. Next one is motion study. The scientific technique for motion study is conducted. So under this, to conduct the motion study, Taylor suggested to observe an average worker when he is performing the job and note down all the movements he is doing. How many times he is getting up for his place, how many times he is bending down, etc. Repeat it for 100 times with different worker. After writing all the movement, classify them in productive and unproductive movements and make the strategy to cut down or minimize the unproductive movements. Next one is differential piece wage system. The scientific technique of differential piece rate system emphasizes on paying different rate of wages for efficient and inefficient employee. The technique of different piece wage system insists on Paying different rate of wage to efficient and efficient employee. Extra wage paid to efficient employee will motivate them to remain efficient. To conduct or adopt differential piece wage system, Taylor suggests that the company must fix a standard rate of wage for worker producing standard output or their target. The worker who produces more than the standard target must be paid with a higher rate of wage, and those who are producing less than the standard output must be paid with a rate less than standard rate. The worker who is producing less than standard output must be taxed and penalized by paying less than standard rate. Next one is mental revolution. Taylor said that generally in every organization, workers feel that management exploit them, overburden them with excess work and pays them in less. On the other hand, management feel that the worker always grumble. They follow go slow policy, damage the equipment, work carelessly. Both the groups suspect each other. In the technique of mental revolution, Taylor stressed that there is need to change the attitude of both the group drastically. He referred to change as a revolution of mind to develop positive thinking and a feeling of cooperation for each other. So that's all about I have tell you today principle of management, every each and every principle, each and everything. If you have any query related to this anything, so you can comment me in the comment box. If you like my video, please press the like button and don't forget to subscribe my channel for more and more updates. Thanks for watching.